Did you know China is raising millions of ostriches, the world's largest birds, in a way that's turning heads globally? These massive creatures, sprinting at 45 miles per hour and towering up to 9 feet, aren't just a quirky sight, they're fueling a billion-dollar industry. By 2024, China boasts 20,000 ostrich farms, making it a top global player. How did a country far from the African savanna master this? What makes ostrich farming so profitable? This video dives into the jaw-dropping world of China's ostrich boom, from high-tech farms to luxury products. Stick around to uncover why these birds are more than just meat. They're a cultural game-changer. Zessing Tines Port Sanders. Have you ever wondered what it takes to raise a bird this big? Let's find out. So how do Chinese farmers raise millions of ostriches? It starts with precision. Farmers select healthy, defect-free eggs from top breeds, ensuring strong offspring. Incubators, kept at a steady 56 degrees Fahrenheit, hatch eggs in 40 to 50 days. Flashlights check for issues like unformed embryos, while infrared heaters maintain cozy 95-100 degree Fahrenheit coops for newborns. Baby ostriches munch chopped veggies for easy digestion, staying in enclosed farms for 4 to 6 weeks until they're tough enough for sunlight. Why go to such lengths? Because a single ostrich can lay up to 50 eggs a season, boosting output. For adult ostriches, space is key. Each bird, weighing up to 770 pounds, needs 2,000 to 2,500 sq ft to roam. Farms provide sandy areas for dust baths to fend off parasites and sturdy 5-foot fences for safety. Feeding is a science. 11 to 15 pounds of mixed feed, greens and grains daily, packed with vitamins. Their unique digestive system pulls water from food, needing just 1 to 2 gallons a day, way less than cattle. What's driving this scale? Technology. Solar panels cut costs and agricultural waste becomes feed, making farms sustainable. Could this be the future of farming? The payoff is huge. Ostrich meat, lean and protein-rich, rivals beef but with less fat. A farm with 100 ostriches can earn $9,000 yearly from meat alone, harvested after 38 weeks at 250 pounds. Ostrich leather, naturally water-resistant, stars in fashion and design, while feathers from birds over 130 pounds create luxury decor. Beyond profits, ostriches enrich China's agricultural identity, blending innovation with tradition. How would you use ostrich leather in your life? China's ostrich industry is a stunning blend of scale, tech, and creativity. With 20,000 farms, it's redefining what farming can be, turning a quirky bird into a global powerhouse. From high-tech egg hatching to sustainable practices, these farms deliver meat, leather, and feathers that captivate markets worldwide. Ostriches aren't just livestock. They're a symbol of China's bold agricultural vision. Could this model inspire farmers in the US or beyond? What do you think? Would you try ostrich meat or rock an ostrich leather jacket? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know if this blew your mind. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more wild farming stories. Next up, we're diving into China's billion-dollar rabbit industry. Gotta guess how many they raise? See you then.
Hello, friend. Consumers drop $20,000 0 cents on ostrich jackets, yet Texas factories trash 70% of hides over a single scratch. Inside the state's biggest plant, 500 ostriches hit the line daily where 1 millimeter flaw tanks a $1,500 0 cent skin to $50 0 cents. Did this video crack open the 48-hour race, revealing the ruthless precision and staggering waste behind luxury's most unforgiving material? Find out right now. Sun cracks over Valley Mills, Texas. 1,400-pound ostriches sprint 48th across 335 acres of Superior Ostrich Ranch. Maya Chen, 28, third-generation tanner, checks her tablet. Bird ID 47, 11 months, 248 pounds. One ostrich can hit $2,500 0 cents total value, she says. But only if every gram is tracked. Ever wonder why a jacket costs more than a used car? Keep watching. Reggio Jr., 19, scans the tag and loads the trailer. Reggio Luis Ortega, USDA vet, locks trailer temp at 18 to 22 DGC. 50 birds, 12 per section max. Trip under 4 hours, Ortega says. Stress drops, hide grade, 5%. Rig rolls out $10 per bird. Four hours later, Dakota gates swing open. 500 birds hit the line daily. 70% of hides never make it. What happens next will blow your mind. Inside, patented rails glide birds forward. 80 psi air blasts feathers clean with no follicle damage. £2 per bird, head to supercar detailing kits, $50 0 cents per pound. Maya lifts the first hide 16 square feet, crown worth 60%. Digital caliper reads 30 quills per square centimeter, grade A. One bird equals 100-pound meat, 16 SVFT hide, 2-pound feathers, $2,500, 0 cents potential. But 70% never see a jacket. The drums are spinning. Steel cylinders process 500 hides at once. Chromium CLT sulfate locks protein at pH 3.8. Worker tests every batch, 0.2 drift ruins softness. Split screen, old system 1000, 200 liters water per hide. New enzyme tech, 720 liters. Texas plants recycle 70% of every drop. Dye vats glow Hermes red. Staking machines hammer leather to 1M flat. UV lamp strobes are 1 wimmer. Scratch flashes red. $1,500, 0 cents. Skin crashes to $50, 0 cents scrap. Maya's jaw tightens. We can save 15%. Want to see the fix? Maya flips the switch and the grading line wakes up with a low buzz. She turns on the big 4K camera and splits the screen right down the middle, left side for before, right side for after, so everyone can watch the fix happen live. On the left sits a perfect patch of ostrich leather, packed with exactly 30 quills per square centimeter. That's grade A, worth a clean $1,500, 0 cents. On the right is the same piece, but a tiny 0.2 millimeter scratch cuts straight through it, circled in red like a warning. That little line just erased $1,450, 0 cents in value. The split screen isn't just to show it's Maya's live proof, a real-time X-ray of the problem and the solution. She fires up the AI scanner, tuned to catch anything 0.8 millimeters or bigger, and it races through 500 hides a day. Maya dials the UV light to 365 nanometers, and 98% of the floors light up instantly. Reginald Jr. taps his tablet, hide 4721B grade, sent to Buffin. This is a buy tip. Always ask for the QR grade report. Never trust full quill unless you see the quill density certificate. Maya slaps the label on the box. Inside sits one $20,000, 0 cents jacket back in the game. Seven days later, the restored hide lands in man. Ground ostrich hits the grill at $15, 0 cents a pound lean, just 1.5% fat. Feathers glide over supercars in detailing shops. Eggshells glow as $50, 0 cents designer lamps. One bird can feed 100 families and keep 500 Texas jobs rolling. Slap on a USA raised label and the price jumps 20%. The numbers are stacking up, and you can feel the final math closing in. Experience has been passed down. Keep it under 25 DGC or the quills crack. As the sun sets over the ranch, Maya, Reginald Jr. and Dr. Ortega huddle around a tablet to review the numbers and decide the next move. The dashboard lights up. Waste dropped from 70% in 2011 to 55% in 2025, while revenue per bird climbed from $1,800.00 to $2,500.00 gain per bird. AI and enzyme tech deliver a $700.00 gain per bird. An investment slide appears. An $80,000.00 AI upgrade saves $1,200,000.00 in waste yearly, 500 birds daily, 15% recovery, $1,500.00 each. Reginald Jr. reminds them, the 90S crash cost Dad $2 million. We cap growth at 18% a year. Maya asks, spend the 80 grand? Dr. Ortega answers, do it. Waste falls under 50% by 2026. Delay costs $400.00 K next year. Three green checks flash. The final plan is 60% revenue from meat, 40% from leather for stable cash flow. Process in Texas to keep an extra $600.00 per hide. Maya steps to camera. Measure every gram, adjust every process, reuse every stream. That's how one ostrich becomes $2,500.00 and a farm lasts generations. QR code flashes. Scan to see the USDA Ostrich Grading Guide. Do you support grading farms? Let us know in the comments. The sun dips below the horizon. Birds roam free across the Golden Plain. Comment your biggest takeaway below. Let's talk precision. Hello, friend. 10 billion gallons of Coca-Cola per year, 2,000 bottles produced per minute, and 65% of them are recycled. What makes Coca-Cola factories dominate such impressive numbers? Follow along to the end to discover the secret. Alex Thompson is a 28-year-old mechanical engineer and Texas A&M University class of 2020 graduate. Growing up on a family dairy farm outside Waco, he grew up repairing irrigation pumps and testing water quality for 200 Holstein cows. After 4 years designing robotic arms for a Ford plant in Dearborn, Michigan, Coca-Cola hired him to join its flagship Southwest Beverages facility in Dallas. The company needed new talent to bridge factory automation and the farm-style precision skills Alex honed, balancing pH levels in cattle feed troughs. His first official assignment, tracking a 12-ounce bottle of Coca-Cola from raw water to the delivery truck. The exercise trains new hires in traceability while allowing veterans to spot inefficiencies. Alex pinned his badge, grabbed a tablet, and started timing. The water bay smells faintly of ozone. Dallas draws from the Trinity River aquifer, but nothing reaches the mix untreated. Reverse osmosis skids built in Grand Rapids, Michigan push water through membranes with pores 0,01001 microns wide. The system rejects 99.9% of minerals and salts. Ultraviolet lamps follow, then a controlled ozone injection. Alex records pH at 7.1 inside the 6.8 to 7.4 window. Back home, his dad uses the same RO unit for the herd's drinking water. Each cow downs 30 gallons daily. Lean H2O cuts E. coli risk and keeps milk SEC below 200,000. Alex taps the screen. Test every 15 minutes. Skip ozone and the batch tastes metallic. Log every reading. A horn signals the syrup tanker. The driver hands over a manifest stamped Atlanta Origin Confidential. Inside the armored trailer sits 5,000 gallons of merchandise 7X concentrate, brewed in the only lab authorized to touch the original 1886 formula. That formula sleeps inside a 6-ton vault at the World of Coca-Cola Museum, a combination known to exactly 3 executives. Alex scans the temper band, green check. Syrup flows from the tanker into a stainless steel holding tank inside the Dallas plant. It mixes with the ultra-pure filtered water at a precise 1:5 ratio, 1 part concentrate to 5 parts water. A built-in laser Brix meter shines through the moving stream and instantly reads 50.9 deg Brix, accurate to 0.01 deg. This number confirms the exact sugar level Coca-Cola demands for every batch. The same laser technology helps Georgia chicken farmers fine-tune layer feed to 18% protein, balanced nutrition keeps hens healthy and egg production consistent. Alex slips on a required hairnet before entering the syrup room. He double-checks the tamper-evident seal on the tanker break that seal without scanning the barcode first, and the entire load is automatically rejected. No exceptions, no second chances. Temperature drops to -4 degrees Celsius in the carbonation tower. Carbon dioxide from Gulf Coast wells dissolves at 4 bars 58 psi. Each can will carry 2.2 volumes of gas, enough for a 30-minute fizz after opening. The spec originated in this very Dallas lab in 1982. The chilled syrup enters the carbonation tower, where Alex calibrates the pressure gauge to exactly 4 bars to dissolve CO2 perfectly. Too low, below 3.5 bars, makes flat soda, while too high, above 4.5 bars, causes bottles to rupture. Florida hog farmers use identical CO2 sensors in barns to maintain 0.1% air levels, keeping pigs calm, efficient in eating, and on track for faster market weight. The compressor exceeds 90 decibels, so ear protection is non-negotiable per OSHA. Alex logs the calibration to ensure fizzy Coke and productive pigs. The massive KHS inner filling line in the Dallas Coca-Cola plant roars to life. It races along at 2,000 bottles per minute. That's 33 bottles every single second. Empty PET preforms, already made with 50% recycled plastic from California facilities, heat up and blow into full-sized bottles in just 0.3 seconds. In a blur, the line fills each one with fizzy Coke, screws on the cap, and tightens it to exactly 20 inch-pounds of torque. Alex stays safely behind the bright yellow line on the floor. Reach across while the robots are moving and the entire line shuts down for hours. Spot a loose screw or bolt, he reports it immediately so the crew can fix it before anything goes wrong. The next stop on Alex's trace is the quality lab right beside the filling line in the Dallas Coca-Cola plant. Every single bottle goes through more than 1,000 tiny checks before it can leave the factory. X-ray scans look inside for hidden air pockets. AI cameras make sure every label sits perfectly straight. Lasers measure the exact fill height to the nearest drop. Alex steps into the sensory booth with the tasting panel. He takes a small sip of the Coke, swirls it across his tongue and spits it out. Never swallow. Swallowing would throw off the results. Today he catches a sweetness difference of just 0.05% and marks it on the tablet. The trained human tongue can actually notice sugar changes as small as 0.011 molar. That's why the panel is still the final judge. One tiny off note, whether in a bottle of Coke or a feed bunk, gets caught early. Alex enters his official score, 8.7 out of 9. That batch is approved and rolls on toward the palate. Nothing leaves the Coca-Cola factory unless it tastes exactly right. Sustainability boards glow overhead. 65% of aluminium cans recycle nationwide. Compressor heat pre-warms incoming water, saving $2 million yearly. Treated wastewater irrigates local cotton. Alex flattens sample cans and separates PET from aluminium, mixed streams, and the load is rejected at the sorter. Final checkpoint. Live feed to Atlanta. The vault door fills the screen, 133 years sealed. Alex enters his bottle's batch code. The system confirms every parameter from water pH to cap torque. Traces complete in 42 minutes. Closed-loop recycling deliver consistent Coke and consistent farm results. One technology platform serves billions of consumers and millions of livestock. Alex clocks out. His bottle rides a truck down I-35 toward a Walmart in Fort Worth. The vault stays locked, but the process is wide open. Like if you learned something new about how Coke is made. Subscribe for next week's behind-the-scenes Pepsi factory tour. Drop your wildest guess about the 7X secret in the comments. Best one gets pinned. The vault stays locked, and your next Coke stays perfect.
Hello, friend. Hundreds of cheap raw hides worth just $20, 0 cents each from the African savannah are transformed into luxury bags selling for $30,000, 0 cents. This is the million-dollar industry secret almost no one ever sees. Stay until the very end, and you'll see why it's actually a bargain. The story begins with a single impala antelope, an animal about the size of the white-tailed deer many Americans see in their own backyards. One mature impala provides only 8 to 12 square feet of usable hide. A domestic steer, by contrast, delivers 50 to 60 square feet. That simple difference already makes impala leather 6 times rarer before a single process has begun. The raw hide, taken straight from the range, carries a value of just $18 to $25 per square foot, less than a good steak dinner. Fewer than 80,000 such skins are legally harvested worldwide each year. Pause for a moment and consider. Everything that follows starts with material that costs less than a tank of gas. Within 48 hours of harvest, those hides must be chilled and placed aboard private cargo jets. A single charter flight from southern Africa to one of the few authorized tanneries runs $45,000 to $75,000. A delay of only 6 hours can turn an entire shipment valued at $2 to $3 million into waste. Ask yourself how many businesses you know that can risk millions in a 6-hour window. That is the first real price paid for rarity. At the tannery, the hides enter a chrome-free vegetable-based tanning process using a formula trusted by fewer than 8 facilities on Earth. The sequence is exacting: liming and unhairing to remove the hair, deliming and enzymatic softening to open the fiber structure. Prolonged immersion in natural tanning agents. Four separate aniline dye baths that penetrate completely yet preserve every unique natural grain. hand application of pure oils. And finally, a 72-hour slow drying cycle in climate-controlled rooms. This stage alone adds $400 to $650 per square foot. When the leather emerges, it is already worth 8 to 10 times the finest American calf leather most of us have ever owned. Now comes the moment that separates merely expensive leather from the truly exclusive. Every square inch is scanned by laser and examined by eye under intense light. Only 35 to 40% of each hide meets the unforgiving standard. The remaining 60 to 65%, despite the $500 already invested per square foot, is discarded without hesitation. The usable leather that survives this cut suddenly costs between $1,800 and $2,500 per square foot. Imagine throwing away 2/3 of something you just spent $500,000 to create. That is the discipline built into the price. The surviving leather is thinned to between 0.8 and 1.2 millimeters, the thickness that gives the perfect balance of suppleness and structure. Each bag is then hand-stitched using the centuries-old saddle stitch technique, 2 needles, beeswaxed linen thread, roughly 240 hours of uninterrupted labor by artisans whose annual compensation rivals that of top surgeons. Solid 18-karat gold or palladium hardware adds another $6,000 to $15,000. One finished bag, no larger than a hardcover novel, requires 4 to 6 perfect hides and up to 24 months of coordinated global supply. Total production cost, before a single dollar of profit or retail markup, falls between $100,000 and $200,000. Walk into an American boutique today and a new impala bag is offered between $25,000 and $35,000, an increase of 6.7% for 2025 alone. On the resale market, the same pieces have appreciated more than 400% since 2019, outperforming almost every traditional investment most of us have ever held. Fewer than 15 factories worldwide possess both the skill and the trust to complete the entire sequence to the required standard. From an $18 raw hide on an African plain to an object that commands $30,000 and more on Medicine Avenue, Rodeo Drive, or Worth Avenue, every dollar and every decision has now been accounted for. The next time one of these bags is lifted, the weight in the hand is not just leather and gold. It is 48 critical hours, 72 hours of slow drying, 240 hours of stitching, and the quiet courage to discard 2/3 of the material along the way. Look closely at the grain the next time the opportunity arises. Every subtle marking is unique, unrepeatable, and earned through a chain of decisions most owners will never fully see. Rarity is not created by marketing alone. It is created by refusal to accept anything less than perfection at every single stage. The distance traveled both in miles and in value is now clear. An $18 raw hide has become something that appreciates faster than real estate, faster than the S&P 500 for the past 6 years, and does so while remaining useful and beautiful every day it is carried. Whether that final price feels extravagant or perfectly reasonable is, in the end, a personal judgment. But the underlying arithmetic, the uncompromising standards, and the sheer scarcity are no longer secret. The full journey from a windswept African range to the most exclusive showcases in the United States has been documented, step after step, dollar after dollar. The question left for each viewer is straightforward. Knowing exactly what it took, does the price still seem high, or does it suddenly look like one of the few remaining bargains in a world that increasingly settles for less?
Hello friend, what if I told you one factory in China can process over 1 million tiny frog skins every year? Each skin takes 1 to 3 weeks to become premium leather. Why pay millions for frog skins? Step inside these secret factories and witness the shocking, unbelievable process. The day begins when refrigerated trucks arrive from the bullfrog farms of Guangxi and Jiangsu. The frogs, large American bullfrog stock raised specifically for meat and skin, travel alive in temperature-controlled tanks. Workers sort them by weight and size in seconds on automated belts. The selected frogs then enter sealed chambers bathed in soft blue light. Carbon dioxide fills the space, the frogs fall asleep instantly, and within moments the skin is removed in one complete piece. Fine salt showers down immediately to cure and preserve the raw skin. The salted skins move directly into the first soaking tanks, filled with warm enzyme solution. The enzymes dissolve surface fats and clean the inner layer without damaging the delicate collagen structure. A high-pressure water mist follows, so dense the entire room turns white for a full minute. Workers wipe each skin by hand with microfiber cloths to ensure no residue remains. The defatting drums come next. The skins rotate slowly while organic solvents pull out every trace of natural oil. Lime solution swells the fiber, opening the structure. A mild acid bath neutralizes the lime, and another enzyme drum softens and smooths the leather. By the end of this beam house stage, the skins are perfectly clean, uniformly thick, and ready for tanning. Large wooden drums now take over. They are filled with concentrated vegetable tannins extracted from quebracho and mimoso bark. The skins spend up to 48 hours tumbling gently, absorbing the tannins that will make them true leather. When the drum opens, the skins have turned a deep, even shade. They are rinsed, then sent through a second tanning cycle for added strength and suppleness. Pickling in mild salt and acid prepares the leather for dyeing. The dye room contains rows of rotating stainless drums. One drum holds midnight black, another deep burgundy, a third metallic bronze, a fourth jade green. Each batch is dyed separately, then over-dyed for multi-tone effects. The skins emerge saturated with color that reaches all the way through the fiber. Warm oil mixtures are massaged into the leather in the fat-lagering drums. This step replaces natural oils and gives the finished leather its legendary softness. Vacuum dryers remove excess moisture in minutes. A shaving machine then skims the flesh side until every skin is exactly 0.6 millimeters thick. Lasers scan for imperfections and measure every square centimeter. The dried colored leather is rolled lightly to set the final texture, some matte, some high gloss. Digital tables display the cutting patterns. CNC lasers cut the tiny skins into precise components for belts, card holders, mini bags, and jackets. Even the smallest offcuts are collected and turned into key fobs or watch straps. The stitching floor runs like clockwork. Industrial machines with fine needles join the pieces at high speed. A single miniature crossbody bag may use 12 different colored panels, each seam hidden inside. Belts receive solid titanium buckles. Bomber jackets are assembled from 40 separate skins, the grain matched perfectly across every panel. Edges are beveled, sanded and painted by hand in multiple thin coats. Quality control is exhaustive. Samples are stretched to 30 kilograms without damage. Finish bags are soaked under running water. Droplets bead and roll off instantly. UV chambers test color fastness for hundreds of hours. Only pieces that pass every test receive the final embossed mark, guaranteeing vegetable tan Chinese bullfrog leather. Packing begins in a quiet, climate-controlled hall. Each item is wrapped in acid-free tissue, placed in a silk dust bag, then nestled inside a cedar box. The boxes are scanned, sealed and loaded onto pallets. At dusk, the same refrigerated trucks that arrived with live frogs now depart carrying finished luxury goods bound for airports and high-end boutiques worldwide. Three weeks earlier, those trucks delivered living animals. Now they carry silent cedar boxes containing belts worth $1,200, miniature bags worth nearly $9,000, and jackets that retail for $28,000. $1 million frogs a year, 21 days each, and an ancient craft updated with modern precision turns a humble farm animal into some of the most expensive leather on earth. Hello friend, $500 0 cents for 1 pound of beef? That's olive Wagyu, 60% pricier than A5 Wagyu and enough to buy a top-tier grill. This melt-in-your-mouth steak comes from full-blood Wagyu-fed 2 tons of dried olive pomace, yes, the oily trash from olive oil presses, over 30 months. All 2,500 cows live on one tiny Japanese island smaller than Staten Island. One drying shed runs $300,000 0 cents. So how did olive garbage become the world's most expensive steak? Let's dig in. Olive Wagyu isn't just dinner, it's the crown jewel of luxury steakhouses from Tokyo to Manhattan. Chefs slice it paper thin, sear it for 10 seconds and watch it melt at room temperature. Customers pay $150 0 cents for 3 ounces and still clap. But every ounce starts on Shodoshima, a 60 square mile dot in Japan's inland sea. We make maybe 2,500 cows a year, says Masaki Ishii, the farmer who started it all. With global demand booking tables 6 months out, $500 0 cents a pound starts to look like a bargain. So what's driving the price tag? First, the feed is recycled garbage and expensive garbage. Walk into an olive oil mill on Shoroshima and you'll see wet, oily pomace, stacked like wet cement. Most farms burn it or dump it. The pomace is 60% water and spoils in hours. He spent 6 years building a low-heat drying tunnel that pulls moisture without torching the oil. One bad run ruins a month of work. Today, each cow downs 2 tons of dried pomace, roughly $36,000, 0 cents in feed alone. That's more than the average American spends on groceries in 5 years. Next, the cows lived like retirees. Standard Wagyu ships at 24 to 26 months. Olive Wagyu lounges until month 30. Those extra 4 months pack in fat so fine it looks photoshopped. Lab tests clock oleic acid at 65%, 30% higher than regular A5, which sits around 50%. US prime beef, by comparison, barely hits 38%. Translation: the steak melts at 77 DGF, 4 degrees below body temperature, while standard A5 needs 86 DGF, and US prime doesn't truly melt until 95 DGF. You don't chew, you blink and it's gone. The longer timeline doubles barn costs, triples labor, and ties up space 6 farms can't spare. One cow's 30-month vacation costs more than a Tesla Model 3. Then came the disasters that turned a secret into a brand. Ishii kept his pomace recipe under wraps for years. The buyers just knew the beef tasted nuts. Then 2010 struck. Foot and mouth disease ripped through Miyazaki, Japan's Wagyu capital. The US banned all Japanese beef. A year later, the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami flattened ports. With exports down, Ishii went public. By 2012, Shidoshima had a new cash crop. In 2013, the first olive Wagyu hit Tokyo. A 3-star Michelin chef paid $120, 0 cents an ounce on the spot. Word spreads faster than the marbling melts. Supply never caught up. 6 licensed farms, 20 cows per farm, total 2,500 head a year. After trimming, grading and export cuts, maybe 800,000 pounds reached the market. That's less beef than one Texas feedlot ships in a week. Meanwhile, waiting lists stretch 6 months. A single Los Angeles steakhouse gets 12 portions a month. They vanish at $150, 0 cents for 3 ounces. At a 2024 Tokyo charity auction, one loin sold for $1,200, 0 cents a pound. The buyer ate it raw with chopsticks. Supply-demand math doesn't lie. Let's stack the prices side by side. US prime runs about $35, 0 cents a pound. Regular Japanese A5 jumps to $200, 0 cents. Certified Kobe pushes $350, 0 cents. Olive Wagyu starts at $500, 0 cents and climbs to $770, 0 cents on a normal day. That $500, 0 cents floor is just the starting bid. And shipping from a remote island, customs paperwork and temperature-controlled crates, and the final tab climbs fast. One 40-foot refrigerated container can hit $200,000. 0 cents landed in New York. That's a down payment on a house for beef. Back on the island, the process is equal parts brutal and beautiful. Workers massage calves, play Mozart and shovel pomace twice a day. Drone shots show 2,500 black cows dotting green hills. Fewer animals than one Kagoshima ranch ship in a month. Every carcass is graded by hand. Only the top 60% make the cut. The rest ground into $50, 0 cents burgers nobody advertises. Will Olive Wagyu stay the world's priciest beef? Or will copycats flood the market? Tell us in the comments, would you drop $500, 0 cents, on a pound of melting cow? What's the most you've ever paid for a single bite? Subscribe for more wild stories about why your favorite foods cost a fortune.
Did you know China is raising millions of ostriches, the world's largest birds, in a way that's turning heads globally? These massive creatures, sprinting at 45 miles per hour and towering up to 9 feet, aren't just a quirky sight, they're fueling a billion-dollar industry.